Move down back to item H, review and possible approval of the request proposal for solar generation.
Okay. As you, I believe everybody was here as we heard the presentation from Nevada Renewable Systems. Mark, you're
Yes, I
here
am.
today. Okay,
Thanks.
appreciate Mark being here. We heard the proposal from Nevada Renewable Systems, and they've asked us to commit to move forward with their project. As we've gone through that as a staff, we've looked at the process that we need to follow and some of the issues that are involved in this. One of the concerns that we have is our inability just to commit to a project like this, that we need to issue an RFP and go through the regular bidding process if we were to move forward with any type of project like this. We need to follow the state statutes as outlined, and so that's an important part for us to do this. We can't move forward until we issue an RFP to do so. We have, as we've looked through this, staff is recommending that we continue to work with solar developers, that we would like to do a solar project in the future, but we feel like this project is not right for us. And there's a couple reasons why that I'd just like to discuss with you why this isn't right for us right now. One of the first things that's important to recognize is the size of the project is pretty big. Right now we're long in our energy, meaning that we have to sell a little bit in most of the months during the year. And putting on another project before our current contracts expire would just give us more energy that we'd have to try to sell, that puts us in a bind that we can't always recover full cost on. We're a little bit concerned also about the financing for the project. One of the requirements or one of the things that we've been asked to look at by Nevada Renewable Systems is to obtain RUS financing. As we've looked at that, Terry made contact with RUS and asked them what type of commitment that would give us with the project. And overall, the project is well over $100 million. And as you put financing in, of course, there's a lot more there. RUS says that anything that they commit to and that we commit to represent or cooperate on makes us a co-signer. And so we're very uncomfortable with committing to that level of financing because of first of all, the debt that it adds in addition to what we already have, but we're also concerned about how we would pay for that and what it does to the other things that we need to do going forward. We feel like that it handcuffs us as far as our ability to do things in the future. Also, in regard to the size of the project, I'm concerned with the level of loads that we'll serve in the future. As we've talked about in here before, there has been work from the federal government to reallocate the Hoover hydropower. There have been a number of entities within our system that have applied to receive an allotment of that power. If those entities are able to obtain that power, which I hope they can, that would be a great benefit to them. But it also means that we don't have the loads that we currently have. And so again, it would leave us long additional energy. So we have a concern there until those things iron themselves out. We've also talked in here about, or I've talked with Mark about the resource being not firm and being intermittent, the extra cost that adds on to us. And they've come up with some ideas for that, but it still boils down that it would cost us more money to fill in those times, to firm it up and to fill in the intermittent times. I've talked at length with some experts in the renewable energy field, and I've also talked with Jim about this, about the power quality issues that come with a large project that is connected to a project of our size. There are concerns with harmonics and voltage driving and switching transients and grounding problems. In fact, there was locally one project that when the system was energized, they lost one of their main power transformers, which is millions of dollars. And we're concerned about those types of impacts and the financial impact that has going on us forward. So looking at this in the future, I really think that we need to commit to do a project going forward. But I think that we need to look at it in the time frame of when our current contract expires. And I think that there's some things that we can do that will help reduce the cost. Things like connecting to our distribution substations, where we eliminate the needs for expensive large power transformers and additional equipment. We could use the lower voltage equipment and the facilities that are in our substations to make those connections and reduce the costs. So that's something that we need to really look at. And the other thing that is a goal of us operationally is to put in any generation. We would like that to be distributed generation, meaning that we don't want a large project. We want smaller projects that are spread throughout the system that connect to the various substations that reduce or it reduces our transmission loads going into those substations, and it puts the energy right there where it's needed, and it puts it on the loads where some of those power quality issues are mitigated right there at the substations and that equipment, rather than injecting that out in the customer loads. So the other thing that we're really concerned about is we hate to invest in today's technology for the next 25 years all in one step. Over the last 25 years, we've seen tremendous strides in the technology that's become available. And I think going forward, we're going to continue to see great strides in the technology that's developed. I already understand from talking to some of the suppliers that there are improvements in efficiencies and costs that will be coming forward. And as I've talked to Mark, he's promised me that with his project that they would try to incorporate those. But to me, it makes more sense to stage those in over time through smaller projects where you continue to capture the efficiencies that are made, and then when it comes time to replace those efficiencies or those facilities, you're not changing them out all at one time. So I think a little more measured approach going forward is the way that we need to approach this, with smaller projects that are distributed and installed over time that help us to meet the needs of our customers and to meet our goals as a power company to have reliable and safe and affordable power, and then keep those rates as stable as possible. I think it can best be achieved through doing that. And that's my presentation, my ideas on the subject, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions here?
Just,
no, you pretty well covered it, Mendes.
with the inverters that's going to be required, just what's the life expectancy of that piece of equipment?
You know, the inverters have been the weak link in solar generation. Only recently we've seen some changes. In previous years, the panels were guaranteed for about 15 to 20 years. The inverter was guaranteed for about 10. And they've made some improvements there, where there are some companies who say they can give you a 20-year warranty on an inverter. One of the experts that we talked to told us that he didn't recommend putting in a large inverter. He said that he recommended, to gain some of that reliability, to put in some smaller inverters, but install more inverters per generating unit than to rely on one large unit. But again, those are getting up to be 20 years. I know that they're trying to reach that 25-year goal, and that's where some of the panels are right now, is 25 years of life.